The reason we did AMD the first time is because people had an idea for a really fascinating badge for the conference, and it worked. It was something that attendees loved, it was something that people poured their heart into, and this year people have really done much more work on it. The technology has advanced, and it's kind of expected of us to outdo ourselves this year. So that's what we're going to do.
What the hell is OpenAMD?
OpenAMD stands for Attendee Metadata, Open Attendee Metadata, and it consists of two primary components. The first is RFID tracking, or position tracking, and the second is a social network site that we created.
The API is going to be a simple RESTful API where you're going to be able to query based on query locations, query users, and query information about speakers and talks.
Trying to figure out what we can do with this data is what we've been poking at for the last 6 months.
Each badge is going to have an active RFID tag in it, and we're going to have RFID readers all over the conference. And the more readers we have, the better triangulation we can get. Triangulation is basically multiple readers. You can use a signal strength to determine where you are.
If you had all of this data, what would you want to do with it? And it comes down to, it's all about grouping and tracking, trying to categorize what people are doing. Why are the lockpicking people as a whole going to see about shellcode generation and polymorphic viruses? Why would lockpicking people like that? It's going to allow the end user to come up with their wildest ideas of how they can use this data. They can use their data mining. People with different interests in different zones and time frames of when people are going to the bathroom, for example. Different genders, where the different genders are hanging out. Different people from different states and different area codes, where they're hanging out, why they're hanging out, when they're hanging out, what they're looking at, what they're not looking at. It's insanity. It's a realm of chaos, and we're making it open.
One of the interesting things about this project, it allows us to explore the pros and cons of how technology is, because you have technology, but there's also the social implications and how technology can be used for, good or for evil. So for example, you can use it for inventory tracking. So say I'm running a retail store and I can tag every item and I can find out which items go better than others, if certain placements make them sell better than others. And then there's bad things like privacy intrusion. You can stick them on people, Island of Dr. Moreau scenario, right? You can track where everyone is, and you can use the tracking data to determine, hey, you're not doing your work. And maybe somebody is, maybe they're not, but using that tool, becomes a very, very powerful thing.
You're getting to see, not just see how much data about yourself is capable of being collected, but how it can be used and how you can play with it, how you can mess with the system. And being that this is a conference for hackers, this kind of thing, in my opinion, is very important to have.
You can even opt out and take the battery out of your badge. And this is really important. You can have a badge and not participate at all if you don't want to. Everything is totally voluntary.
If you have a good idea that you want to include, we give you the tools.
Encourage creativity.
Yes, encourage
public
creativity.
API, encourage
Public API.